to see back in the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So, Doctor Who magazine is not in good shape. It's not in very good shape, and they've been really trying to up their game. You know, I think their life is really on the line. Look, before the pandemic started, they were down to, I should say, around about 16,000 copies a month. They were selling, which is pretty low. I think 12,000 is the cutoff at cancellation, and it was at like 20 when Capaldi left, and like 25 at the 50th anniversary, where I think it reached the pinnacle of its popularity. So and that's before the pandemic. So the last couple of issues, they've really focused on things that sell and avoiding things that don't sell. The thing they avoided that didn't sell is the current era of Doctor Who, which is repellent to most of the target audience. I would have thought just by how they're avoiding it completely. So for me, I think it's probably too little, too late. I think, and which is heartbreaking for me because I love Doctor Who magazine. I've been reading it since since my entire life. I'm nearly 50. I've been reading it probably since it came out. In fact, here, look, I can show you. Right, you see these bookshelves here? That one there, that's Doctor Who magazine. That's from the reboot onwards, and the shelf below is before that. They were thinner then. There, you can just see them. So, listen, it's like a full run. Oh, here, you have my two coffee cups there on the shelf above. I haven't taken upstairs yet. So there you go. Yeah, a little insight into the Rabbi from another planet's office. Listen, I'll let it fine. And they did their absolute darndest best with the last issue. I think they overcharged for it. Though. And again, I think it's, Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is a great scene where this hitman saying you're dealing with half measures when you need to deal with whole measures. Half measures just is enough. They need whole. He was talking about killing someone. The whole measures is killing someone. I just think they've got to lead into the mistakes they've made a little bit. That replacement time team they did was just agonizing. It wasn't inclusive, and it wasn't like people with different skin color or disabled people. No, it wasn't that. It was patronizing. It's just agonizingly patronizing for everybody involved. And that's why I think it probably turned a lot of people off. Which I think kind of like the current era of Doctor Who, which is just agonizingly patronizing. But they did have this issue, the last issue, I think 506. They had some really good article in it, talking about the Virgin New Adventure book range, which is an absolute gem of an era that is completely forgotten now. Becoming forgotten, and it's a shame because it really is an absolute gem. And they had a one-page article in it written by Russell Lee Davies. You do notice there's no article written by Chris Chibnall. Russell Lee Davies, look, writers can't stop writing. That's why they write, because they have to write. And I think if somebody has trouble writing or they drag their feet doing it, they're probably not that much of a writer. That's just my opinion. I'll give you a bit of Judaism for you. I am a rabbi. There's this idea in Judaism called Yehud. Yehud is something that your unique life purpose, something that only you can really do. And Russell Lee Davies, clearly his Yehud is to be a writer, right? And I think it's something that you struggle doing, something you're not happy doing. It's probably not your Yehud. And I would say it's probably not the Yehud of Chris Chibnall or Alex Kurtzman. They don't seem to really like it. You gotta love doing something to be able to do it. I think anyway. That's just my opinion. But anyway, so Russell Davies wrote a really good article. We're going to read together. It's a one-page article. It's not going to take forever, but it is small print because it's Russell Davies and he likes to bloody write. Essentially talking about his book, his New Adventures book, Damaged Goods, which again. Oh, there's a Big Finish adaptation of it, which is really worth your time. It's really, really good. I like that one, especially if you want to get it set around Christmas. Then it's very Christmassy. It's kind of dark Christmassy. It really is, but it's a good adaptation, good book. And again, that range, the whole New Adventures range, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm thinking of trying to hunt down some of the authors from it, like Kate Allman. See if I can get her to come on the channel because I used to love her work. Anyway, I digress. I waffle. Can you guys hit the subscribe button? Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful. Remember that. Can you hit that subscribe button? Thank you very much. I want to get my subs up. I don't know why. I just want to do it. If you subscribe to my channel, a couple of things could happen. Firstly, you can enter my weekly competition, and the prize this week is a pretty darn good one. And I say that every week. I know I say it every week. But I believe it every week, Listen, one thing you can pretty much rely on me. I'm not going to BS you. You know, I'm going to tell you how I feel. So I do. I love this price. It's Judge Dredd Origins. It's one of the later mega epics. It's Judge Dredd going on a mission into the cursed earth, where you find a lot more about his origins, right? And then you spend a lot of it, like about, was it 100 years earlier, whatever, when Judge Dredd, well, can't be 100, wow, 6 years earlier, when Judge Dredd and Judge, his brother, Judge Rico Dredd, were young cadets. So you get to see like the formation of the judge. So yeah, it's a great book, art by the late great Carlos Aquiza, probably the greatest Dredd artist of all time, or at least one of them. One of the most definitive Dredd artists. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Kidding. That's really the freaking message I'm gonna give you. If I could do Professor X, post-hypnotic suggestion to click the subscribe button, well, it'll save us all a lot of time, wouldn't it? I would say it. But also, I would do that. I would misuse my power because I very much want you to hit the subscribe button. I would. I genuinely, I can't lie. I would absolutely misuse. I would do that, 100%. Also, there's a day. I gotta find out what day it is. It's in about a week or so time, or 2 weeks time, during the holiday of Sukkot, which is Sukkot, so the holiday of booths. I'll be talking about more of the time. It's one of the weirdest part of Judaism, and there are a lot of weird parts. Okay, there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. But it's supposed to be like kabbalistically the best day for non-Jews to entreaty the good Lord. So if you want me to pray for you for anything, I make no judgments. I don't care if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, if you're Jewish, if whatever you listen. I guess if you're part of the Hitler Youth, probably not. I'm probably not into. Well, though, if you subscribe, I don't know. Tell it. I'm a bit of I am a subscriber whore. I really am. So I guess I'll pray for you. Yeah, tell me what your prayer requests are. Send them in. You can send them privately, completely anonymous. I'm not going to tell anyone like, oh, could you get this anal waltz fixed? I'm not going to mention anything. Okay, just just tell me what you want. I'll pray for you. I do not guarantee results. Okay, I do not guarantee results. But can't bloody hurt, can it? Can't bloody hurt. Look, I'm doing it. You don't have to. So go ahead and also go check down there in the video notes. There's a download link which I put on my Google Drive this time for a Judge Dredd audio adventure by Big Finish. It's a pretty darn good one. I can't remember the name of it now. I should have checked that. I just put it up, but it's on my Google because people are having trouble downloading it from the other server I uploaded to. So go ahead, download it. It's made by Big Finish, but it's out of print, out of license. You can't buy it anymore. I would suggest that if they ever get their license back, which they're not, but if they ever get their license back, go ahead and buy yourself a digital copy. Or you know what? Just if you download it, listen to it, enjoy it, go to their website and buy. They got a lot of cheap stuff which is really, really good. I'll try and put a link to another one of my videos in the video notes that will tell you that's a guide to Big Finish's budget releases, because absolutely worth your $1.99, especially if you download that thing and you enjoy it. I think it's just fair. Fine, so let's look at this article in Doctor Who magazine. And, this article is fascinating because look, Rusty Davies is just a genius. He's a very perceptive genius. They're very, very good at communication, very, very good at television, and very understands Doctor Who to a really deep level. And without realizing it, talking about his book, Damaged Goods, he tells us why Doctor Who is going to come back, and it's why I believe Doctor Who will come back, and also tells us why Doctor Who is currently failing right now. Listen, Rusty Davies, he's another guy I think who just speaks honestly. I think that's I think there's a lot of genuine honesty in all of that, and also just like a genuine love of life and love of people, which I don't get from Chibnall's Who. I really don't. So let's zoom in on this. Still got to zoom out a bit more. There you go. Let's try that. I'm only going back and. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, but you know what? Why can't I just widen the page? Because it won't do it. It won't do it. Oh, there you go. Does it work? Did it work? Okay, I think that's good enough. Oh, come on. Fine. Let me try again. We'll try again. Doctor and Rose looking happy, walking off. Okay. We got it. Fine. Rusty Davies is enshrined in TV history as a man who reinvented Doctor Who. Yes, he is, but in the end, his reinvention seemed to be a very, very, very faithful reinvention, pulling out the absolute essence of Doctor Who and wrapping it into its own, creative voice. I find his years of Doctor Who are completely unique. Yeah, completely unique. They're much more, concerned with family and connection than I think Doctor Who has ever been before. But it's still very, very much Doctor Who. But Rose, which fired the starting gun on the series' turbocharged 2005 revival, wasn't Russell's first Doctor Who credit. That is true. That came 9 years earlier with the publication of Damaged Goods, the future showrunner's one-shot contribution to Virgin's new adventure range. Again, freaking excellent range of books. I think you can find them online, get digital copies, and there's so many good ones of them as well. Yeah, Kate Ullman, that's the one you wanted. That's one of the best authors. Left-Handed Hummingbird, I think one of my favorite books. Although I haven't read it for years. If I have time, I'll go back and read it, but I don't have time. Looking back, it was a remarkable initiative, says Russell, to employ new writers, fan writers, young writers for an official range. It was a wonderful thing to do. Professionally, it's a remarkable risk, but I think it's a risk that actually needed to be made to this range for it to work. And it was very radical. It was a real radical, I'll say adult updating of Doctor Who. But it was more like adolescent than adult, Doctor Who had sex in it. I think it was basically Doctor Who moved away from being a family show, a TV show, because it was off screen, and it aimed at its target market, which was 16 to 22-year-olds. I think basically, people basically of that mentality as well. But that's where that sensibility came from, which again, freaking awesome. You can find any. I absolutely love them all. Not them all. Some of them terrible. Some of them I pretty much read them all because that was Doctor Who at the time. That was like the ongoing Doctor Who. That would change when Big Finish came in. And basically the book range was running out of steam by that time anyway. As I recall, it's all mishmashed in my head. It's remarkable they should be applauded. They should be, because it had this real dangerous feel to it, and it was just great. I remember the book. I remember books with much love. Me too. He has. They filled the gap perfectly. I read them all. I think. Although don't test me, I'm a diligent completist. Okay, Russell, you and me both, mate. We are absolutely. I did. Can you see the? Let me see. If I put over here. No, you can't see it. You can't see it. It's way over there. You can just at the top over there. You can just see it. Where is it? Around here. These are some of the missing events. Wait. If I turn this cat over here. Oh, there you go. Hey, you're seeing bits of stuff you've never seen before. So you can't see them, right? You can't see them because there's a few there, but they're kind of behind this layer of books as well, right? These are missing events. So I got pretty much all of them. And you can't get them anymore. They're like 50 quid for a copy. Go and find digital copies, okay? They're online. They're all online. And honestly, I think the authors should be able to do reprint, do a print on demand thing of them themselves. Maybe BBC Books has to do a thing where they have to pay a royalty to the BBC. But I think the authors should be able to continue selling their books. And you do print on demand. You can print one book at a time. Amazon has a very good service that does that. If anybody's looking to be an author, get in contact. I do that for a living. I sort people out like that for a living, amongst other things. But yeah, okay, fine. I remember the books with much love, and they filled a gap thing perfectly. I'm a diligent completist. Blah blah blah. So the moment I set out to write one, I did my homework and caught up with the whole lot. I lost track when they went to BBC Books in 1997. That's true. I kind of stayed with them for the 2 or 3 years, basically until Big Finish kind of took over. Yeah, so 97, fine. The covers were terrible, and they all looked the same. Well, I like that unified feel that they had. You didn't really. the New Avengers range, the covers were wildly different. They're just and a lot of them were very, very good, but there was very little unified feel to them. The BBC Books had had a very McDonald's, had a corporate feel. Yeah, everyone felt, kind of thing, which I hear kind of boring. It was kind of boring. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with them there. The covers, they look the same. That's true. Version really got the covers right. I guess it's it's a taste thing. Books were famously sold as stories too broad and deep for the small screen. And Kate Orman, again, my favorite author from the range, described themselves as a broad too deep for the small screen, which I thought was quite clever. What does our BAFTA-winning small screen writer think about that? It's a nice line. He says perfectly. In fact, if you're moving from TV to print, that's exactly the line you want. When they want to make Doctor Who movies one day, they'll say too big for the small screen. In fact, that's exactly what they said when they made Doctor Who movies in the '60s. You know, it's like at last we see them in color. It's like I think they should use the line too big for the small screen. Did it for the Dalek movies. Not about. By the way, I'm almost positive around January, February time, I'm going to be launching an Indiegogo of an imagined third Peter Cushing movie. I'm thinking of basing it on the Aztecs, and we could tie into like the Hammer horror of the era. We can call it like what was I going to call it? The Aztecs Brides of Blood, that sort of thing. It's got a very like Hammer horror-esque cover movie poster, and I think like we put like Kate O'Mara, young Kate O'Mara, or young Twiggy in it, so it feels very much of its time. So yeah, that's like I'm definitely planning on doing. I kind of have an artist lined up for as well. So yeah, you never know if these things are going to come together, right? You never know. I hope it does. But I got the beginning all worked out in my head. But yeah, more on that in another video. Fine. Books it's a nice line. Did the range ever go too far down the adult content route, both in terms of sex and violence? Well, there was violence, like kind of a little bit of disturbingly sexual violence as well, quite a lot of the time. And the Byzantine complexity of the stories, that was more in the BBC range. The stories were, I mean, look, the BBC range, their big bad was like the this future time war. I guess they're being present about it. Whereas in the Virgin range, the overarching plot arc was about the Doctor's origins. Done pretty well, I think. Well, I never I never like saying anything went too far. Ross says, "What a boring attitude." I freaking love Russell T Davies. I think pretty much I agree with everything he says. That's half my career going too far. Let's face it. Yeah, I kind of agree. Listen, I don't think you're ever going to get like real artistic, bite unless you're prepared to, step out of the safe path. But again, I think that's what they kid themselves they're doing with the current era. They're being like innovative, but they're really not. They're just being very, very, very conformist. They're like, oh yeah, let's make the Doctor a woman. It's very, very boringly conformist to like the boring Twitterati people. Let's say so there we go. Itch scratch. I know they pulled back. Rebecca Levine, somebody else I'd love to get the chance to interview. I think she'll be a great showrunner. She's I think she's a script editor or something on Emmerdale now. I think because again, this range was freaking awesome. It was an absolutely fantastic range. Rebecca Levine, who was a wonderful editor, took out some swearing out damaged goods, which was fine. I just been matching what I assumed was the tone, but I think they were retreating slightly from that by then. Well, that's towards the end of the range, I think, by then. But really, they found their own level. These things do. See, that's the thing. That's the natural order of things is everything finds their own level. Everything finds their own audience. That means if something's not real, if something's not authentic, they're never going to find an audience. Which is what's happening with Doctor Who, which is what is happening with Star Trek. But it's just everything kind of finds its own audience, and if it doesn't, that's something very telling. Yeah, I think it's very rare that something like authentically that something that's like, is an expression of somebody's real desire to express themselves doesn't find an audience, because that's the thing that connects to people more than anything else, in my opinion. But and I just don't think they have that at all in the current era. But they found their level. These things do. Beyond planning, beyond intent, stories just find themselves like a sea level. Yeah, 100%. And think about it. That was a bunch of story of mostly men in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, full of the usual angst and frustrations. Yeah, and that really did pour out in the books. And that was also the readership as well. It was actually yeah. So again, the current era of Doctor Who has found its level. The Twitterati freaking love it. Twitterati are a teeny tiny, I think 1% clump of insane people that scream that they're the majority and they're the future when they're really kind of regressive and just not very clever. It would actually have been harder to ask them to write family friendly stuff because that requires modulating a voice like a professional writer. That's fitting a brief, which is hard work. Yeah. That, by the way, when I said like writing, if you're writing, you can't stop writing. That doesn't mean that writing isn't hard work. You know, I think who was it? It might be in this article. He said that if you're writing a book and it's going easy, you're probably doing it wrong. You know, you've got writing is hard work. Don't think it was in this article. I think it was in the previous article about the New Adventures. Letting it all out, keeping it adult and glory and dark. That was kind of natural, but there was fun in the novels too. Look at the 50th book, Happy Endings. It was hilarious. And Kate Ullman invented the Alton spatula. I don't remember that. I don't mention that, but I believe it. And the world is better of having an Alton spatula in it. There was far more sex and violence. That is also true. Did fans in the 1990s who've grown up with Doctor Who want the show to grow up with them to some extent? They were even perhaps slightly embarrassed about this passionate love for this children's TV show. Yes, again, that's another thing I do not understand about. I think I do understand about the rabid fans of the current era. It doesn't matter; it's not popular. Yeah, if you're a genuine fan of something, it doesn't matter that it's not popular. I think all that really does matter is you loved it, and that's how we felt in the 90s. You know, it's an embarrassing thing that I kind of love, and I love it, and that's who I am, and I'm not going to apologize for it. You know, I think for them, it's just really important. It's really important. It's popular because that's really the point for them. It's not really about enjoying it. And again, if you're one of the people who do enjoy it, God bless you, love you. Nothing against you, but I think you're in the minority of fans of this era. I just do. I would love to be wrong, but I just do. Nurian's like embarrassed. I'm not sure. Russell considers if you're embarrassed about Doctor Who, I don't think you want your name on a paperback in Double H Smith. Embarrassment is a thin emotion. Oh, see, he's a clever guy. You know, I think he is a clever, perceptive person. I don't think there's enough drive or energy in it to get. You see, he's basically echoing everything here to get a manuscript. Was it a manuscript written? Yeah, okay, so that's the thing. If you're embarrassed by Doctor Who and it's not popular, I don't think that's enough to make you go. It's like, oh, okay, fine. But basically, I basically agree with him completely there. The feeling I got from Rebecca and Paul Cornell was, Paul Cornell, such a disappointment. He's such a great talent, such an incredible great talent, especially in this range of books. He's such an incredible great talent and such a disappointing person, like such a disappointing herd mentality. But he is part one of the Twitterati, and he knows he cannot step out of line of the Twitterati. You know, it's sad. It's just genuinely sad. But again, can't deny his talent as a Doctor Who writer, which is freaking fantastic. Paul Cornell. That was the whole thing about being driven by love, an absolute love for the property that had been sorely neglected. I think that's wonderful. Yeah. And I think that's what's not behind the current era Doctor Who. I don't think it's being driven by an insane love for it. I think Ralph C. Davies had an insane love for it. I think Moffat had an insane love for it. I don't think the Moffat stuff was great. I don't think Moffat was great all the time. I think Ralph C. Davies was great all the time. But there's something undeniable was their sheer undiluted love of Doctor Who. I get the feeling Chris Chibnall doesn't love Doctor Who, right? I get the feeling he doesn't love Doctor Who, and I think that's why it's really failing. It's struggling. For him, he loves applause. He loves being a member of the Twitterati. You know, that's what it is. That's what he loves. He doesn't love Doctor Who. And you can really say, and that was something that was in this range of books, an absolute love for Doctor Who. Okay, yes, there might have been an urge to make the show grow up. I don't remember. Having that agenda. As I said, I wrote the adult stuff in mind to fit in with an already established line. At the moment I got the show on TV, I ditched that because again he's got such an incredible intuitive idea of what works on television and what, because I think he understands people. I think the bottom line, he just understands people, and he wanted it to be a very popular show, a show that the family could sit down and watch, and it really was. That's I think Rusty Davies era Doctor Who, more than any other, is a show the entire family can love. You can have the mums, dads, daughters, and sons all together, all getting something else out of it. You had Rose, you had the science fiction. Everybody could sit there and go, "Oh, this is so much fun," right? And it was so much fun. Again, and I think that the fun is just something that pours out from the absolute love of Doctor Who. At the moment I got the show, I ditched that. I remember going to my first meeting at BBC thinking, if this is going to be for a 9 p.m. on BBC Three, I'm not interested. You nailed it there. But if that urge existed, that's fair enough. That's creative. That's where more positive forces at work than negative. Yeah, 100% agree. And again, this is why I think Doctor Who is going to come back. I think it's going to come back because it's a funny little show. Doctor Who is a funny little show that people do adore. People do absolutely love it. And I think one day there'll be enough people who love it in the right positions in life that they will be able to bring it back. Yeah, right now I think there's a desire to bring it back because in the very distant past it was a commercial juggernaut, and now it isn't. Right? I think I think that's the driving factor. But I think the thing that will really bring Doctor Who back is love. Love for Doctor Who is the thing that's going to bring Doctor Who back, and that's why I never give up on Doctor Who. Even though this current era Doctor Who, I just don't consider Doctor Who. I re-edited twice upon the time, so as Capaldi starts to regenerate, it fades to white, and you see a TARDIS spinning in space. I've cauterized this era completely from my headcanon and from my actual collection. It's just gone. It's just not there because for me this just isn't Doctor Who. It's too different. It's too bad. So I think it's betrayed the essence of it. And again, I just don't feel the love that is there that I was so used to seeing in that revival. I just don't feel that love is there at all. Did Russell's revival owe to the New Adventures debt, even a small one? So Russell says, I thought about this, he says, and I don't want to spoil the party, but no. There we go. But no, I don't remember thinking about the Virgin line particularly. It's funny, but the one thing that convinced me that the new show could work, and this is why I think it's going to come back. This is irrespective of what happens with Doctor Who right now. The one thing that convinced me that that a new show could work was when I wrote K9 into Queer as Folk. The story, the love for that thing on set. Again, if you put a Dalek on set, you put K9 on set, and people go, "Oh, I love it," because people do love Doctor Who. That's the bottom line. People do love Star Trek. People do love Star Wars. And they still love Marvel comics. They still love DC. And I think as people just get over their political insanity, that ideological insanity, they can tap into that love. But again, you can only do that if you actually have love for the item. Love is all you need, baby. I think that's basically what I'm trying to say. I think that's what Russell's saying here. So yeah, I don't think about the new event, about the Virgin line particularly. It's funny though. Queer as Folk. They just adored him, K9 on set. That made me think, we're onto something here. It's worth noting. That my novel was set in an inner city housing estate, and so was Rose, but the styles couldn't be more different. The damaged goods estate was full of heroin, sex, and men burning to death in public. Yeah, again, but it was much more the angsty, New Adventures universe rather than the kind of rosy, more humanist, 2005 series. The full of heroin and sex and men burning to death in public. The Rose version had locals using the arrival of spaceships for an excuse for a funny booze up, polar opposites. But I just think the polar opposites are both actually kind of real. But I think by the time 10 years later, when he came to do Rose, I think he was just matured and had a greater love of humans, a greater love of people, which just oozes out of all of Russell T Davies's work, regardless of what it is. That's why I found his years and years just depressing. I felt, I really felt Russell's pain. Like Russell's angst-driven pain. The world's spinning out of control and everything's going to be terrible. It's not, Russell. It's all going to be fine, mate. Just relax. All of you, just relax. Everything telling you it's going to be bad is actually going to be good. Everything's fine. Just relax. But I did feel bad for him because I know it's clear from his work. Here's somebody who is driven by just a love of humans, a love of family, a love of connection. But that's not to denigrate the books at all. These things don't move in straight lines. Move in straight lines, one to the other to the next. They're tidal, they're orbital, they're gravity. Oh boy, here's a lot of smart things he's saying in one page. They're gravital. Their gravity. They're all variations of the same thing, and that's love. That's what led Doctor Who. That's what's led new Doctor Who. Love, yes, and love. Whether that's a Virgin novel or K9 on Channel 4, or an executive called Jane Tranter remembering how she used to mark up the TARDIS in the acting rehearsals room for JNC and then commissioning a new show. Love brought it back, and I still love those Virgin novels very much indeed. And I just lost the. I don't know when I turned off this thing, but okay, it's gone. Fine, okay, fine. So that left. But listen, again. So Russell T Davies there, very, very clearly saying what made Doctor Who work. Always made Doctor Who work since. Basically since the JNT era, or probably even before then, probably always. What has made Doctor Who work? It's love. It's the absolute love for Doctor Who. We saw that in the New Adventures range. We saw that in Russell T Davies' era. We saw that in Moffat's era. We saw that being cramped a little bit by creative constraints put on by the BBC and their insanely racist diversity and inclusivity dictate, which is the absolute opposite of, in my mind, of inclusivity and diversity. But they see this pure love, this flowing through it, and I think that's what we haven't seen in the current era of Doctor Who. We haven't seen a love for Doctor Who. We've seen a love for themselves. We've seen how they've loved themselves so incredibly much for being so stunning and so brave, doing everything that their tiny little clump of people will applaud, while ignoring the whole rest of the world is reviled by it. Because again, they don't really. It's much like the Twitterati which they align with. They say they look at humanitarian crisis at the border, for example, the southern border of the US, when you have thousands of people. There's millions and millions and millions of people who have illegally entered the United States, and they say, listen, how can you be so heartless as to stop these poor suffering people come into the United States, unhindered? It doesn't matter about the trafficking or the child prostitution or the drug. None of that matters. None of that. There are people who are hurting, and how can you say no to them? And really, they don't care about them. It's not about love of these people trying to immigrate, illegally, enter the country. It's not about love for them at all. It's about love for the Twitterati. It's about love for themselves, because they don't like being made to feel bad. And sometimes it makes you feel bad. It does make you feel bad if you've got to disadvantage one group of people to advantage a whole much bigger group of people, right? If you have open borders, then it's disaster. It's disaster for the lower income population of that country, because when you have an illegal immigrant workforce, that lower income people will go to the illegal immigrants and not to the people who are there legally, and it just causes a lot more strife and disaster. But because you see pictures of people suffering and you can't immediately do something to alleviate that, because if you immediately alleviate that, you're going to hurt a whole lot more people, because that involves all. But that makes you feel bad, and they don't like feeling bad, because they love themselves. Same thing with this current era of Doctor Who. They love themselves so much. And once you love yourself and your heart is filled with love for yourself, you don't have any room to love anybody else or anything else. That's why I don't think they love Doctor Who. And that's why I think Russell T Davies did love Doctor Who. My name is Sheila Bacon, the Rabbi from the planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.